Hey folks, Country Prepper here. I got something neat I want to show you guys here. I got this from my friend Chuck. His channel is Plain Old Chuck. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description box below if you want to go check it out. And he's shown how he does these on his channel. He sent me some ferro rod handles. And this one I thought turned out really cool. I had a big ferro rod. It's like a 9" by 1/2" ferro rod. Huge. So I thought that was the perfect fit for this handle. And then this cap comes off, not very easily, but it comes off, so you don't have to worry about that rubber cap just falling off. But he also drilled the other end so you could put some jute twine or whatever, maybe a couple tinder quicks for some tinder in there. So I thought that turned out really cool. I wanted to show you that. And then I'm also going to show you guys how I install a ferro rod handle so that it never breaks loose and comes apart. In 3 years that I've been making custom ferro rods, I've never had anyone tell me that theirs came apart, and none of mine that I've made for myself have ever come apart. So I thought I'd show you guys that here today. So here are a few that I've done ahead of time, and they still need cleaned up and everything, but there's one of the bigger ones, the 1/2" by 5", and this is the red cedar. I need to clean it up. It just came out of the oil, so that's kind of what they look like when they come out of oil before you sand them. I use a sanding sponge and make them nice and smooth, but that's how some of them turn out. That's one of the smaller, like 5/16 by 3" ones. So I've got a few of them already done, and then just to show you this here real quick, I'm working on another knife with the red cedar, and that's going to look really cool. It's got a good grip to it. So what you're going to need a few different things. This is the epoxy that I use. Because they're so small, they're like a one-time use. So I get these at the Dollar General, and they're, I don't know, like $2-3, something like that. So you're gonna need some epoxy. Of course, you're gonna need your blanks, your ferro rods or ceramic rods, whichever one you're doing. And then I got this cheap little miniature hacksaw at Walmart just for doing these, because it's easy to control it, and I don't want to mess up the blade on my good hacksaw in case I need it for something else. I don't want it to be dull from doing these ferro rods, because it does kind of eat up the blade on them. So that's why I do these. The blades are super cheap for it too, so that's another reason why I got this little hacksaw. But show you why you need that here in just a second. Alright, hacksaw, ferro rod. This is why you need the hacksaw. The reason that ferro rods and whatever else break loose is because they are not porous. This is metal, and so it's very smooth, and there's nothing for the epoxy or the wood really to stick to. So what I do is I put the hacksaw at an angle towards the end, and watch the sparks fly. See why this eats up hacksaw blades? You just cut a little notch in there, and I'll go all the way around and do like 3 of them. Try not to slip. I'm trying to do this without bumping into the tripod instead of getting my gooseneck thing out, but just trying to do a quick video here. And so you can do this 3 or 4 times, like I said, around. And you don't want to go too deep. You just want something for the epoxy to set down in and grab onto, so that it has a nice bond to it. And I try to you can switch up the angles, see how those are opposite. That way, no matter which way you put any type of pressure on it, if you put any kind of a twist on it, that's usually what breaks a ferro rod loose, is the twist. The pressure that you put on it will break the epoxy loose. Or like some of your cheaper ferro rods, like the Coghlan's ferro rods or something like that, they're basically got a little bit of like super glue in them or something like that. It's just not enough to bond it really well. So that's the first step. Put a few notches in the end of the ferro rod. Make sure you don't you want to dry fit your handle before you do this, to make sure you're not going too far down on the ferro rod and having one of those notches hang out. It's not a big deal, but it just wouldn't look very nice. Now when it comes to ceramic rods, it's not really necessary. Ceramic is a little bit porous, so that will grip into the epoxy. The epoxy can actually soak into it just a little bit. But if you want to make sure, if you want to notch your ceramic rods too, you're going to need a special bit. They do make one for the Dremel. So that would be a good option if you wanted to notch your ceramic rods. But like I said, it's not really necessary. I've never had one come undone. They are, like I said, a little bit porous. So that tends to help. Now you notice when I was notching those ferro rods, I moved my cut mat. That's very important. If you do this on top of a cut mat, you will melt your cut mat. Cut mat, when you notch those ferro rods, the sparks are that hot. So don't do that. Just quick tip. So here are the handles that I'm going to be using. Here's the other ones that Chuck sent me. I sent him a box full of red cedar, and I thought that turned out really nice. One set turned out a little nicer than the other, but they both match pretty well. This one doesn't have quite as much in it. So give you a little look at the last one. So I thought they turned out pretty well, and the reason I sent those to him is because I thought if it turned out really nice and we figured out a good way to do these, then I might just go ahead and get myself a lathe. That way I can make these and sell them on my Etsy store. For these right now, if you're watching this video, consider yourself in luck, because I'm going to give them away. Just leave a comment below and go subscribe to Plain Old Chuck. Like I said, his link is in the description. Now the next step is you need to clean all of that stuff off of the ferro rods. What I use for that is I just use my blue shop towels. And believe it or not, this stuff works excellent. You can also use alcohol or just anything that will take any type of oil or anything like that off of the ferro rod. And so I just give this a little bit of a squirt. Doesn't take a whole lot. And that's about as small of a squirt as you can get out of that can. But, I mean, you can see just how dirty that thing was. So clean that off really good. Let them dry. And then we'll be ready to put some epoxy in them. I think I mentioned this before, but just in case I forgot, make sure you dry fit the ferro rod or ceramic rod in the handle to make sure that they fit in there nice and easy, so you don't have to struggle putting them together once you get epoxy on them. The other reason that I use these is it has this nice little self-mixing tube on there, so you get an even, coat of the two different parts of the epoxy. And then all I do is put a little bit down inside, kind of twist it around, get it all the way around on the inside, and then I will also put just a little bit down in the grooves on the ferro rod, the little notches that you make. So it does not take a whole lot. Make sure in between that you pull the plunger back on the epoxy if you're using one like this, because you don't want that stuff going everywhere. I have noticed that some people think that this is like some kind of polyurethane or something if the ferro rod handle is coated in that. Not usually. People don't tend to wipe off the excess epoxy, but I do. And one nice thing about doing that is you get a nice clean edge. The stuff's not hanging out, but also that epoxy will seal the end of that wood so it doesn't dry out and crack right there. So I'll go ahead and do the rest of these without the camera in my way so I can do it really quick, and then I'll be back with you guys. One more quick little tip when it comes to these ceramic rods, you can also do it with the ferro rods, is just once you get them sat in there, once you get them seated really well, just give them a little bit of twist to make sure that epoxy gets all the way around on the inside and makes a nice good contact. Make sure it's seated down in there really well. You want it just as deep in there as you can get. See, that one's already getting set up. So I'll be back when the epoxy dries a little bit. This is a 5-minute epoxy. Alright, well, I hope that helps somebody out that wants to try and do their own custom ferro rods or ceramic rods. And I thought they turned out pretty good. I thought they were neat, but I thought I would share them with the community and let you guys in on Chuck's beautiful work here. So I will be sending out, there will be 2 winners to the giveaway. Each will get a pair, the matching pair. This, the 2 handles here, the colors match a little better, and then these 2 will also be a pair. And kind of the different way that he put the grooves in them matches up a little better. So I thought I'd just send them out in pairs like that. So like I said, all you have to do to enter is leave a comment, go subscribe to Plain Old Chuck, link is in the description, and leave a comment saying that you did so. And so I'll go over and check his new subscribers, and I'll pick a winner here in, I don't know, about a week or so. We'll see what happens. Kind of depends on what I have going on at the time, but somewhere around a week, I'll pick a winner and get those shipped out. One last little thing is this one had a little bit of a knot hole in it, so I just filled that with epoxy. It's curing right now. Not a big deal. It won't cause any problems. It's just you know, just for the sake of not feeling it every time you grab the ferro rod handle. Every time you grab that handle, you would feel that hole, so I just filled it in with epoxy, and that'll help it, you know, stay nice and strong too. Now, there are no holes drilled in the back of these for putting like a lanyard through or anything like that, so these would be better off being like something you keep in your garage or in your vehicle, something like that, in a kit maybe. But I don't think, personally, if they were in a kit, I would take them to the woods with me, but it's not something that I would put, like, you know, in my pocket or anything like that. I wouldn't want to take the chance of losing them. So just a thought, just kind of a heads up, you know, my opinion type of thing. So that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.